All right, and welcome in, everybody. Hope you're all having a fantastic, fantabulous, awesome freaking day. My name is Garrett Shoemaker, and this is the Shoemaker Take. Today, we got to talk about the Denver Broncos, talking about them boys in Denver, Colorado, where things are looking very bright, brighter than it has been in Denver in ages. In a decade. It has been a decade. It has been 11 years since Peyton Manning won Super Bowl 50 and he retired. That's insane. And since then, the Broncos have been horrible. And now, after last year, things are so much better and things are so much more trending in the right direction. I am excited for the Broncos could be this year, and we're going to talk all about it. So before we get into the discussion, if you guys don't know about the 2025 season preview series, if you're new around here or you haven't, just need to get a little refresher, here is how the series works. If you want to go ahead and jump into the discussion, though, the timestamp's in the video description, so knock yourself out if you guys want to. But here's how it works. We're going to briefly recap 2024. What was their record? What happened? Right? All that simple stuff. And then after that, we'll get into the season. We'll talk about what happened in their offseason, any notable news with their free agency, who they brought in, who they lost, who they drafted. We'll break that down. And then going into 2025, into the season, should I say in the season? Yeah, like going into the season, I'll kind of give you guys my thoughts of how I feel about the Broncos. Do I think they're going to be good? Are they going to be bad? Look at some strengths and some weaknesses. And then after that, we'll go into their schedule, break it down game by game, and then we will wrap it all up with some storylines that I'll be watching for in 2025 with the Broncos. So with that being said, let's jump into the discussion. Because last year in 2024, they went 10-7. And this was a surprise. I thought this team would win 4 games. I thought they were going to be bad. I thought that it was going to continue to be a disaster. And boy, could I have not been more wrong. Honestly, I would say the Broncos being better this year was more surprising than the Commanders to me, because the Commanders, obviously, yes, like their NFC Championship run, that was fantastic, greatest rookie season of all time by Jaden Daniels, but I had them winning 5 games. I guess that's one more win. I think maybe I have them 6, but I thought at least the Commanders would at least kind of get a little bit better and have a little bit more excitement going into year 2. And I thought the Broncos, I thought they were just going to be horrible. I thought there was no talent on the roster. I thought it was all going to be awful. And then they completely flipped the script and ended up making the playoffs, which, wow, just wow. It was so fun. It was so surprising. It was amazing. So here's how they're going to build, and this is what they've done so far. The biggest offseason move for them happened a couple days ago as I'm recording this video. They extended wide receiver Cortland Sutton, giving him a $92 million extension, including $41 million in guarantees. They needed to do this. Cortland Sutton has been there forever. He's been really good for them. And so to get him extended, fantastic work by the Broncos. Happy for Cortland Sutton to get a big contract. I think it's his 3rd contract extension with the team by this point. Has he been there that long? I think so. I think was there like in 2016, 2017 is when they drafted him. So yeah, that would check out roughly. Yeah, his 3rd contract with the Broncos. So congratulations for both sides. Very well deserved. And then a lot of coaches were changed. I didn't make a graphic for it because there was just a lot, but a lot of guys got promoted. A lot from new position coaches. A lot of assistant coaches got promotions. And so a lot of it was hiring from within, which for the Broncos, considering that they want to build off what they did last year, keeping those same guys is important. So I can respect that. But it was a lot. There was a lot of coaching changes. Nothing, like I said, too massive. But there was a flurry of them. A lot of promotions from within, like I said. So good stuff. And then you get into their free agency, which was pretty quiet for the most part outside of a couple players. On the offensive side, the biggest person they brought in was tight end Evan Ingram from Jacksonville. This one is very much well appreciated. They needed a receiving tight end, and now they got one. Evan Ingram, very sneaky good, had some injury issues last year, but looking at where he's going from Jacksonville to now in Denver, obviously in a much better situation. I'm really excited to see what Evan Ingram can do with a better quarterback and a better offense around him. He should be pretty good this year, in my opinion. And then they brought in J.K. Dobbins to be one of those guys in the running back room that I think is going to be better this year, in my opinion. And it's nice to have him. I thought the Chargers should have kept him. He had a really good year last year, exploded onto the scene. And for him, I'm very happy for him because he tore his Achilles twice, right? Or he tore his ACL twice. I mean, he dealt with some pretty brutal injuries in back-to-back years. And so to see him finally get healthy and be back on the field, it was a breath of fresh air. It was exciting. And so I'm hoping that he can continue what he did last year in Denver, and I think he can. And then on the defensive side, they brought in 2 big-name free agents from San Francisco, both of them, linebacker Dre Greenlaw and safety Talanoa Hufanga. Dre Greenlaw, one of the best linebackers in the NFL, would be a starter almost anywhere else if he wasn't in San Francisco. He's got to stay healthy, has some injury issues, but there is no doubting that when he is on the field, he is fantastic. He is a leader, and I am excited to see what he does at inside linebacker for the Broncos. And then Talanoa Hufanga, second-team All-Pro a couple years ago, really developed quickly, in my opinion. He kind of exploded out of nowhere. It was really, really good these past couple of years. So adding a safety and help improving that secondary, fantastic. Very fantastic. The secondary was the one issue in Denver that I guess had a lot of issues, more than the defensive line and the linebackers. So improving into that unit, love it. Absolutely love it. And so what they added on this offense and defense wasn't a lot, but very notable and very important. Those positions that they added got better. And so I can be intrigued about that. I can be excited about that. And looking at what they lost, they didn't lose a whole lot. The most notable loss on offense was Javonte Williams, which I feel bad for Javonte Williams. I thought that a couple years ago he would step up and be that guy after a really impressive rookie season and really just has not developed. And now he has a new opportunity with the Cowboys, which I wish him the best of luck because I don't know the Cowboys are going to be very good this year. I don't think they are. So we'll have to see, but he's going to have that opportunity to prove me wrong. And then on the defensive side, they lost Zach Cunningham and Cody Barton, more specifically, one of their top linebackers. Cody Barton was really good for them last year. Very good, very underrated. Goes to Tennessee now to be their top dog at linebacker. And so it's going to be a little bit of a churn. Linebacker, inside linebacker, I think might be a little bit of a weakness anyways, but we'll have to see. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a second. I'm not going to talk about it right now. But they lost a couple starters. Fine, but who they added in free agency, I think makes this team a little bit better for it. And then you look at their draft, and this is a draft class that is pretty interesting. I like what they're trying to do, and it starts with their first-round pick, corner Jahdae Barron out of Texas. I thought they would have gone running back here if the Chargers didn't go Amari and Hampton. Wait, no, the Broncos picked before the Chargers, right? They were one pick before. So they could have had Amari and Hampton, but they chose to go corner here and continue growing that, and I really like it. Jahdae Barron, very, very solid player. Great tackler, great instincts, great speed, 4.39 40, and very versatile. He can play outside, he can play in the slot, he can play as a dime linebacker, he can slide in at safety. This guy can do a lot. He can do a whole lot. And so in Vance Joseph's defense, I think he's going to be moved around a lot. I think he's going to be all over the field for the Denver Broncos. Very, very exciting player. Some people thought that he could have been the best corner available in the draft. So there's a lot of reason to believe it. I can buy into it. Do I believe he was the best? Maybe. He's definitely in that conversation of consideration, but really, really like this pick for Jahdae Barron. And then in the second round, they traded down a couple spots and got R.J. Harvey, the running back out of UCF. Obviously, coming out of Central Florida, not a very big school, so not a lot of notoriety compared to some of the other big schools like in the SEC and the Big Ten, but back-to-back 1,400-yard rushing seasons, very strong, powerful runner, but also very balanced. He knows how to control his size and run with his size, which is really impressive. And the only knock on him is that didn't get a lot of work at all as a receiver or as a pass protector. So more of a pure runner, kind of like Derrick Henry coming out of college when he was at Alabama. So that's kind of the player that you're getting, like a mini Derrick Henry. But I think that's fine. He's one of the best runners in college football over the past few years. And I'm excited for that. They need a strong physical runner, and they got that in R.J. Harvey. And then in the third round, they continued with physicality, going with Pat Bryant out of Illinois. Had a 4.61 40, which isn't great, similar to Keon Coleman last year when he came out of FSU. But same like Keon, he's a 50-50 demon. He may not have great long speed. He may not have that break the top off speed. But, man, if you throw the ball up there, he's going to jump up and he's going to try and go get it. And most of the time, he probably will. He is a very, very good physical X receiver in that spot. And like Keon Coleman, knows how to win with his size and compensate for his lack of straight line speed. Although his play speed is not bad at all. When you look at his tape, you look at 4.61, they don't really match. I think his play speed is still pretty good. And so they needed a physical element at wide receiver other than Cortland Sutton, and they get that in Pat Bryant. I can like this pick. I can really get behind it. And then Savion Jones out of LSU, edge rusher. This one I'm excited about. The Broncos have a couple free agents on the defensive line that are going to be they're going to be out of their contracts. This year, the contract expires after 2025. That's how I should say it. I apologize. But Savion Jones has a lot of upside. I liked what he did at LSU. So he can hopefully step up into year 2 and take on one of those spots. So maybe what they lose in 2025 in free agency or going into 2026 is not as impactful. And obviously you want to build around the trenches. You want to continue building that spot, those two lines, offensive and defensive. And so for the Broncos, adding defensive help here on the line when they have multiple free agents there, really like it. It's exactly what they needed to do. I can get behind this pick. And then a dart throw here in the 4th round, K. Robinson out of Alabama. Didn't start any games in college until his final 5 games and then got hurt, missed the combine. And so this is a guy that has some upside, but probably going to be playing special teams early on and competing, trying to be in the rotation. Maybe he can get some snaps, but this is a guy that's going to take some time to develop, I think. Does not have a lot of experience. But I can be a lot more excited about this next pick, Jeremy Crawshaw in the 6th round. This guy, former Aussie and rugby player. This guy can boom a football. Averaged over 45 yards a punt in his last year in college. And in the atmosphere that is Denver, being at a high altitude, you're going to see a lot of footballs. Absolutely. Excuse me. Sorry. Little fun fact. I'm going to stop for a second. Right as I ended my recording of my Chargers video, which I did right before this one, I was about to sneeze at the end of the episode, and I lost it. There it is. It came back to me. Goodness, I hate it. Don't you just hate it when you lose a sneeze? God, it's one of the worst feelings in the world. So getting it back feels great. But Jeremy Crawshaw, he's going to be booting the football high. You're going to see a lot of really beautiful punts from Jeremy Crawshaw, I think. I think it's a great fit, honestly. And then you look at Caleb Lawner in the 7th round, more of a pure blocker. He only played at UConn. Came out of UConn. Played basketball, and played 1 year football and was a good blocker. And so they're going to take a shot on him and see if he can just kind of develop and be that type of guy later on down the road. But for now, he's just going to be developing, trying to compete for a roster spot. But they like him. I like his skill set that he brings. So we'll have to see what happens. But overall, this draft is pretty good. I like how they attack the offensive side. They're continuing to build around Bo Nix, which is important. That's what they need to do. And then going with Savion Jones and K. Robinson on day 2, I can get behind it. I respect it. They need to add to this defense, especially this defensive line that has a lot of free agents going into after this year. So I like what they're doing. They're building forward the future with this draft. And they can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. Can't be complaining about that at all. A lot of these guys, other than RJ Harvey and Jahdae Barron, aren't going to see the field a lot, other than being in just a typical rotation and sub-ins. But I think down the road, this could be a much better draft class where a lot of these guys are more contributing players on their team. And so that's exciting. You can get excited for that because that's exactly what you want. You want to build for the future, continue to build and build and build. And that's what they're doing. They are still building. And so going into what I feel, is this team improved? Yes, they are improved. Is it a significant improvement? No. But looking at who they added in the draft and in free agency, I think they are a better football team this year. I think that what they added with Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, J.K. Dobbins, Evan Ingram, and then especially with R.J. Harvey and Jahdae Barron in the draft, they added some solid players here to really good players. And I think that their team is going to be better because of it. There's an improvement here. And I think this team does take a step forward. the defense will continue to be strong, and this offense, which is filled with youth, added some good coaching from Sean Payton, and now you got a team that 10 years ago was just struggling without Peyton Manning, and now their ceiling is high. It's as high as ever. It is as high as it's ever been in a long time for the Denver Broncos. And so if they can take that next step forward, Broncos country is going to be riding very happily. Sorry, Russell Wilson, for stealing your own catchphrase, but when you were there, Broncos country was not riding. I'm sorry. Broncos country, let's ride. Not with Russell Wilson. Sorry. Oh my God, that was such a disaster. So now they have Bo Nix, which is so much better. That being said, this team does have a really high ceiling, and going into their strengths, obviously number one is quarterback. Is it their biggest strength? No, Bo Nix is still young going into year 2, but showing what he did last year and also seeing how much better he got. He struggled at the beginning of 2024, but by the end of 2024, this dude was slinging the rock, man. He was looking good. He was looking really good. And so I'm hoping that next year, I guess now's this year, he's going to step up and continue to develop and play better. And given that the weapons that they added and the youth that they have to grow with him, I can really believe that. I can buy into that for sure. And then running back run game. Oh my goodness. It was an issue for the Broncos last year. They really could not get a good run game going, and I think they're going to be able to this year. I think J.K. Dobbins helps them out. I think R.J. Harvey helps them out. Audric Estime, the former running back out of Notre Dame, is still there. So they have young guys. They have guys that are good runners, and I think it's going to be a better group this year. I think that they're going to be strong. They're going to be fun, and this offense will be a lot more balanced than what it was a year ago. And it all starts with the guys up front in the offensive line, which I think might be probably the strongest part of this team. Arguably, they were fantastic last year. They were so freaking good. And so to see them continue to have all their guys and continue to have that continuity, I expect the Broncos offensive line to be really good again. I think this offense will be pretty fun to watch. And then safety is another one. Talanoa Hufanga, obviously, really good player. I can't remember who the other guy is at safety. God, it's so hard to remember every single player, like every single starter, projected starter, everywhere on every team. It's so hard. Like, no matter how much research I do, I can't keep it all in my head. It's hard. It is really hard. And also, this is my second year of doing this. So we're still figuring all that stuff out. We're still growing and developing. But I think safety is a strong position for the Broncos this year. I think they're going to be pretty good. Then corner, I'll put corner there as an honorary mention because of Jahdae Barron and Pat Surtain. Obviously very top heavy. The other two guys, Riley Moss and oh God, I can't remember the other guy's name. I can't remember. I'm so sorry. But those guys had some issues last year. But I think overall the secondary should still be pretty strong and be a much improved unit than what they were as an entire unit last year. But the only two weaknesses I think I have are inside linebacker and wide receiver. Inside linebacker just because they replaced Dre Greenlaw with Cody Barton, which is great. But other than that, who else did they have an inside linebacker? Is Jonathan Cooper an inside linebacker? Is he? Now that I'm thinking about that, I'm not sure. If Jonathan Cooper is, then we're going to make inside linebacker a strength. But if he's not, then I'll keep it as a weakness because Drake Greenlaw also has to stay healthy. He has injury issues, so here's to hoping that he does stay healthy so that position continue to be stable and be strong. And then wide receiver, they do have youth. I said that. They have a lot of youth, but I'm just not super excited. Cortland Sutton, fantastic. I like that it extended him, but then Marvin Mims is kind of a deep speed guy. I don't think he's a starter. He hasn't proven that to me. I'm not excited about that. And then Devon Vele showed some good things last year, got better as the year went on, especially very end of the year was really pretty good for them. But we'll have to see. Year 2, I can expect them to be a little bit improved. And then Troy Franklin was just made of glass. Couldn't stay healthy last year, which is unfortunate. And then Pat Bryant, he's a rookie, unproven, so we'll have to see. So while this group has some upside, I don't know how good it's going to be. And in that case, the running game and the tight end group with Evan Ingram is going to have to be good. They're going to have to step up this year and be better because if they cannot, then the Broncos offense will have some issues as the year goes along. But I think with the running game, with the tight end, offensive line, and obviously Bo Nix in year 2, I think that's more than enough to help kind of let these receivers grow and come along without having too much pressure on them to really produce right away and be fantastic. Although you would want that, I can't see that happening very much. So at least with what else they have on the offensive side of the football, it shouldn't be a devastatingly bad issue. So let's look at their schedule now as I scroll down a little bit. And this schedule is very, very fascinating because first handful of games, challenging, but it's going to be tough. Second half, or like the second 5 games, are ridiculously easy in my opinion. And then you get into the bye week, and after the bye week, you got a gauntlet. So this is another team, kind of like the Chargers, where the first half of the year, or first, I guess, 5 games? Actually, I kind of take that back. It's a little bit different. But the last 6 games, same thing for the Chargers, is brutal. But let's just break it down, shall we? So week 1 and week 2, you go host the Titans and go on the road to face the Colts. Those are 2 wins. You're starting 2-0 right there. And then you're on the road against the Chargers. I don't know. I think you lose that game. Start 2-1. Then you host the Bengals. This game I am so excited for. It's on Monday Night Football. Last year, these 2 teams faced off. It went right down to the wire. It was so much fun. Definitely one of the best games of the year. And so this rematch better be good. And I think it will be good. I think it's going to be one of the best games of the year. Again, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And so the Bengals, I think they may win this one. It's tough, though. I mean, the Broncos are at home, so they have that advantage. That's the one true toss-up in these first 5 games. And then you go on the road to face Philly. I think Philly wins this game. I think Philly is going to be great this year. I think they're going to run it back all the way to the Super Bowl. Do they win again? I'm not sure, but they're my bid for the NFC to go back to the Super Bowl right now. And then here's where things get really easy. On the road against the Jets, that's a win. At home against the Giants, that is a win. At home against the Cowboys, that is a win. On the road against the Houston Texans, challenging, but I think the Broncos are better. I think they can win that game. And then at home to face the Raiders. On Thursday Night Football, you're at home. The Raiders probably should be a solid team by this point, but give me the Broncos to win it. I think they're better here. So start off in the first 5 games, you got 2-3, 3-2, either or, and you win these next 5 straight games, you're looking at 7-3 or 8-2. So looking very, very strong. Why did my Amazon Echo just lit up? Okay, that was interesting. And then here's the first bold take of this schedule, and my only bold take of the schedule. Week 11 at home against Kansas City. I think they win. The Broncos last year had them. In Denver, they had them, but the Chiefs blocked the game-winning field goal. I think the Broncos will split with the Chiefs this year. I think they will beat them at home and really, really push the Chiefs. Last year, I think they were the best team at doing it out of the 3 AFC West teams. Patrick Mahomes obviously has barely ever lost against his AFC West opponents, divisional rivals. So I think Denver pushes them. I think they beat the Chiefs once this year and split the series. So it's going to be fun. I hope that happens. I'm going to keep my eye on this game. And then you go in week 12, bye week, same time as the Chargers. So late. Get ready for this home stretch. And like I said earlier, this is a gauntlet. You go Sunday Night Football on the road to face the Commanders. That's a tough game. I think the Commanders are going to be good this year. I don't think they're going to be as good, but they're still going to be a tough football team to beat. And then on the road against the Raiders, I think the Broncos more inclined to split. I think, honestly, I don't really know. I don't know if the Broncos are going to get swept. I don't think the Chargers or Raiders could get swept by each other. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to sweep the Raiders and the Chargers, I think, more than likely. But I don't know. I don't think the Broncos are going to sweep the Chargers or the Raiders, or can sweep the Chargers or Raiders. I don't know what I'm saying anymore at this point. But it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, the Raiders, I think, are going to be better than they were before. And then you host the Packers. That's a tough game. Host Jacksonville. That's the easiest remaining game on the schedule. I think you win that one, though. Then on Thursday Night Football, go on the road to face the Chiefs. That's a loss. And then at home, you close against the Chargers. Maybe you win that one and split with them. And so you're looking at a bunch that really has a lot going for them. And I have them finishing second in the AFC West. I have them making the playoffs again. And my official record prediction, for the Denver Broncos as I quickly comb through my schedule again and make sure that it coincides with how I just explained it to you, because I have a feeling it doesn't. We got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and adding one of those toss-up games being a win, fair enough, works for me. Give me boom 11 and 6. I said that this team is going to take a step forward this year and they win one more game. Sure. But kind of like what I said with the Chargers in my video there, which you should go check out, by the way, there is a lot of teams that are, it's hard to predict these teams that are good, but not like in the top, like the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. The rest of them, like the teams that make the playoffs, it cycles through. It's always churning, always new teams. And so obviously there's a limited number of wins to go around. But I think the Broncos are going to be good this year. And I think they have a chance to really be a threat in the AFC. Because with the continuity that they have, I think they take a step forward, like I said. And so maybe the Broncos win a playoff game this year. That's definitely possible. Do they go to the AFC Championship? Doubt it. But they could make it to the divisional round and be competitive and make a solid run into the postseason. So we'll have to see about that. But let's look at some storylines, because there's some pretty interesting ones. Obviously, number one is Bo Nix going into year 2. You want to see him develop, do better. I think he will. I'm excited for that. But number 2 is I want to see the growth of these weapons. I want to see the growth of RJ Harvey and Audric Estime at the running back position. I want to see all these young receivers that they have continue to grow and progress. They need to, because that's the weakest part of their offense, in my opinion. And then the third one is, will this defense be more complete? Like I mentioned last year, the Broncos secondary had issues at points in times. And so what they added, I really think that's going to be better unit overall this year. And I think it will continue to be one of the best in the NFL. But that being said, there is multiple starters on the defensive side that are going to be free agents after 2025. Zach Allen, John Franklin Myers, Nick Bonito, who was really good for them last year, and then Alex Singleton. They're all going to be... Even my mouth is dry. They're going to be free agents after the year, so it's going to be interesting to see who they bring back and who they let go. So this is going to be like the last year where the Broncos defense could be at its best for a couple years. So we'll have to see. I mean, obviously that could change, but it's going to be a really important year for the Broncos because a lot of their defensive players are going to be leaving. And then number 5, can they push Kansas City for the division? Because I already mentioned that I have them splitting with the Chiefs this year, but in the same breath, in a mild spoiler, I also have the Chiefs going 11-6. They're going to have the same record, I think, this year. Can we finally get an AFC West team to push Kansas City? Can they just be competitive, give them a run for their money, and when it's all said and done, were they close to the Chiefs in the division? Because no matter what the Chiefs have looked like, what they've been, whether they've started off good, started off bad, no matter where they finished, they have dominated this division ever since Patrick Mahomes got into the league and started in 2018. And so I think this is the year that the Denver Broncos really push Kansas City. Do they win the division? No. I have the Chiefs winning the division every single year until it doesn't happen. But that being said, this is the best shot any AFC West team has at taking down the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think it's going to be the Broncos that really push the Chiefs to their limits. Do I think it ultimately happens? No. But I will not... Or wait. I just thought myself into a wall. I think this is going to be the best shot at them to push the Chiefs and really try and get that division crown. I think it's going to be tight. It's going to be close. And the Broncos being that team, I am all for it. I am excited for it. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And if you've made it this far, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe button, as it helps the channel out tremendously. And we're trying to build a community here as we're trying to reach 500 subscribers before the 2025 regular season ends. So hit those 2 buttons, smash them, do whatever YouTuber tells you to do. It would help me out a lot as we continue to grow this community. Secondly, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say about these teams. Do you think the Broncos are going to be much better this year? Do you think they're going to be roughly the same? What do you think of their free agency, their draft, what they did this offseason? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. And lastly, make sure you guys share this video on social media. Go follow me on social media, whether it's TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff to continue spreading the show and continue growing the show and the community that we're trying to build. And also, make sure you guys go check out every other video I've made in the 2025 season preview series. I made a lot of great videos. We're talking about the AFC West. The other 3 divisions in the AFC are out. They are ready to be looked at. So spread the word out if you're a fan of any of these teams, or if you know someone who's a fan of any of these teams, tell them to go check those videos out. I think they're good. I really like them. And so spread the word. Get the word out and get everybody locked in and locked on to the Shoemake Take. With that being said, that is going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And as always, I will see you all next time.